Plantsvszombies. I don't think I need to tell you what this is. In 2009, this was the game to play. And now, well, we haven't seen a new game in almost 7 years, and that was technically a spin-off, and we haven't had a new mainline tower defense game since Plantsvszombies 2, and no, I'm not gonna count Plantsvszombies 3. That's had 3 launches or something like that, and it's still not out yet. But even with this uncertainty with the franchise and EA treating it like trash, we still have the original to look back on. Now, that's not to say I hate the other games in the franchise, far from it. I love all these games, well, most of them. I love Garden Warfare and Garden Warfare 2. Plantsvszombies Heroes was fun for a bit, until my friend Andrew would just beat me in every single game. I grew up with these games, and they gave me a lot of memories that I'm gonna cherish forever. But these games are older than dinosaur dirt, okay? Garden Warfare 1, that's like 11 years old. Garden Warfare 2, that's 9 years old. And with it being the 16th anniversary of the franchise and rumors of a remaster of the original game, I thought it would be cool to look back at these games and see how they hold up today, starting with the original Plants vs. Zombies. This is one of those first games that I remember wanting immediately, that and Mario Party 8, because, you know, it was a different time back then. But I saw the Zombies on Your Lawn music video, saw some gameplay, and I was already hooked. So I asked my mom if I can get it, and I did. I got it from the App Store. Yeah, this is where I originally played the game, as I think many others did. But I won't be playing that version because they've put a bunch of ads on it or whatever. I'm going to be playing the Xbox 360 version because it's the easiest for me to record. I have Game Pass, which is just burning a hole in my wallet, and I don't have a PC to play it on Steam. I do own the DS version, but that's more of a, that's cute than something you would actually play, unless it's your only method of playing it, but it's 2025, I doubt it is. But alright, let's get into the backstory. Now for you PvZ enthusiasts, I'm sure you know this, but if not, here we go. Plantsvszombies was created by George Fan and the PopCap team and was supposed to be a sequel to his other game, Insane Aquarium, which was a virtual pet simulator in which players would take care of fish and try to keep them alive as the tanks would be invaded by aliens trying to eat them. The sequel would be made for the Nintendo DS and would feature the aliens attacking the fish from the top screen to the fish at the bottom screen. But later on, as the game got more refined, Fan restructured it to be more of a tower defense game and decided that plants would make a good defensive structure in place of the fish, and the zombies would allow the game to stand out from other games at the time, which according to the sales, this was the right call. And after 3.5 years, PopCap released the Zombies on Your Lawn music video on April 1st, 2009, but this is no April Fool's joke because on May 5th of the same year, Plantsvszombies was released to the world for PC and Mac. The game would also get a release as previously mentioned on the Xbox 360. It would also get a Game of the Year edition for the PC release. It would also have a China exclusive Great Wall edition, and of course the classic Ziosk version that was at your local Red Robin or Olive Garden, I don't know. The Xbox 360 version contained an extra game mode along with the DS version, but I think people more associated with the 360 version, and that was the Versus mode where one player plays as the plants and the other is the zombies. This along with co-op is the only thing I won't be covering in this video because I don't have anyone to play with and I'm really depressed and sad and lonely. Now before we talk about anything else, first I just want to mention that I love the way this game looks. Rich Warner was in charge of designs for the game and I love how sketchy the designs look, and it makes the game have a different feel from the later games. The later games being Plantsvszombies 2 and Plantsvszombies 3, where the designs got more refined and accentuate the main gimmick of that plant or zombie. You take a look at the pea shooter for example. PvZ1, he has this small snout and the peas just kind of like pop out of him, you know, there's no animation. PvZ2 though, he's got this massive bulbous head and he actually shoots it out. You can actually see him like shoot it out with his mouth. But both are great, but there's something charming about the way Plantsvszombies 1 looks. But enough about that, how about that plot? Well, there really isn't much here. Zombies are attacking you, they want to eat your brains, and you don't want that. Your neighbor Crazy Dave informs you as the player that the only way not to die is by using these plants and defend against the zombies with them. And that's about it. At the end of some levels, the zombies will send letters to the player of their incoming attack, and they have some pretty funny and grammatically incorrect dialogue. This is until the last level, of course, where the leader of the zombies, Dr. Zomboss, and his Zombot starts attacking you as the final boss of the game. You beat them, and you celebrate by singing a song. It's not too complicated, and subsequent games don't expand further than simple character traits and just set up for that game, and that's fine. I don't need every game to have Oscar-winning writing. Sometimes I just do like goofy characters with goofy design. The main game mode is Adventure Mode, and it's where you go from level to level defending from the zombie hordes. The setup is very easy to understand. Your lawn is divided into 5 rows, and it's cut up into tiles for you to place your plants, with the first couple levels having you start off with 1 row, then 3, and finally 5 and 6 if you're playing on the backyard levels. During the levels, sun will begin to fall from the sky and acting as your currency that you can spawn more plants on the field with. They're also given to you in increments of 25 for some reason, but you get used to it pretty quickly. And that's the general setup. Place plants on the field and defend yourself from the zombies. There's also a ton of plants and zombies that I'll go into detail in their own section, but other than that, other gameplay elements are lawnmowers are placed at the beginning of each row that can act as a failsafe, so to speak, in case zombies have fought their way through your defenses. One step on the mower and the whole row is killed. If a zombie manages to make it through though and there's no mower, then it's game over for you and your brain. As you progress through the game, you change your time and location. At the start, you'll defend your front yard, later your backyard, then defend both of your yards, only this time at night, and the final stop is your roof. There are some specific game mechanics exclusive to each location that should be noted. Your front yard is a basic tile board that has no gimmicks. The backyard has a pool, which means you cannot place non-aquatic plants on those tiles unless you use a lily pad. On the roof, since it's at an angle, pea shooters and others like it will just shoot the side of the roof, so you need to use a catapult plant to shoot it at an angle. Also, you can't just place plants anywhere. You must first have a pot on the tile before placing a plant. When you beat the game, you can choose to replay the adventure mode as many times as you like and it'll keep track of it. And it's more like a new game plus when you keep all your plants from the last run, but now more dangerous zombies are going to keep coming more frequently and in larger hordes. And if you think the base game wasn't too challenging, this may be more up your speed because I will say, even though I love the game, it can be a little slow sometimes, but the second run really ramps things up, which is more my speed. And it should be said that this isn't a hard game. If you played any tower defense game, then you're going to be running laps on this game. But that's my only critique of the game. There are minigame levels that pop up in between the main tower defense levels. These range from conveyor belt levels where plants are slowly given out at random on conveyor belts while the zombie horde is attacking. Face breaker where you guess what? Break faces and you don't know what zombie will come out of it. And my favorite, walnut bowling, where you just start chucking walnuts at zombies like Daffy in that one episode. These gimmicks and minigames help the game from getting stale and repetitive because it helps mix and match the plants you want to use. Speaking of which, there are essentially 4 types of plants in the game. Sun-producing plants are plants that only produce sun to spawn more plants even faster, and for the night levels, which I'll get into later, are your only source of sun. The 2 plants being the sunflower and the sunshrooms. Projectile plants are your damage dealers that cost more than your sun producers but are the only thing stopping you from getting your brains eaten. These are the majority of your plant roster, but the main ones you'll be using are the pea shooters and the catapult families. Support plants are your plants that are not meant to be used as constant damage dealers but assist your projectile plants in killing your zombies faster and easier. Some examples are the walnut, the torchwood, and the magnishroom. The final plants are upgrade plants that can only be purchased at Crazy Dave's shop, which I'll get into later. The plants cost money and the main way you get it is by beating levels with the lawnmower still intact, and zombies have a chance of dropping money when killed. They're expensive but are way stronger than your typical plants. The only problem is that you need to have both the base and upgrade plant on your roster. Then you need to plant the base to plant the upgrade, so that you have to decide if you want to choose a seed packet that is strong but has no immediate use, or something that can help you in battle right then and there. I love the plants in this game, and I'm not going to list them off, but you know they struggle when these are the same plants that they'll be using for the rest of the franchise. Sure, there's some plants like cattail that are exclusive to this game, but for the rest of them, they stick around for every single game. As previously mentioned, there are some gimmick plants that can only be placed on pool tiles in the backyard, and mushroom plants are mostly used at night levels because if you try to use them in the morning, they're all like,
I'm going to sleep.
Also, I just want to mention there was like a debate online from one tweet a while ago, and it was saying pea shooters should be behind sunflowers in the back because they can get more shots in, but that's not natural, right? I don't like that. Sunflowers should be in the back, right? That doesn't matter. Now let's talk about the other half, the zombies. Just like the plants, there's a surplus of different zombies, all with their own quirks. The most common of these being the brown coats that come in 3 variations: normal, conehead, and buckethead. And these hats aren't just cosmetic, but a simple and effective way of showing to the player the health the zombie has. The brown coats are weaker than the coneheads, which are weaker than the bucketheads. Just another example of why the game's simple art style just works so well for this game. Now as for the rest, just like the plants, there are too many zombies for me to name, but some of the most notable ones are the All-Star, which is a football zombie that comes in like a tank running, but it's really easy to kill once its helmet's off. The Disco zombie is a popular one because he comes in schmoovin' and all of a sudden Disco isn't dead and he summons like 4 zombies with him. The Gargantuar is this big tanky bullet sponge of a zombie that next to a plant just chooses violence and just smashes them into the ground. And when he's low health, he shoots out of this little imp zombie that has little health but really messes up your defenses if you're not careful. These of course show up in future games like Garden Warfare. Later on in the adventure, you will unlock the shop in the Zen Garden. First is the shop, or as it's officially called, Crazy Dave's Twitty Dinkies. I think I said that right. It's the shop where you buy upgrades for you and your plants. You can increase the amount of slots you have for your plants, buy the lawnmower equivalent for the pool and roof sections as previously mentioned. The plant upgrades are like the Galley pea and the twin sunflowers. You can also buy things for your Zen Garden, and that's a place where you can raise and water plants and watch them grow to become full adult plants. and there's like money farms you can start doing from here, but the Zen Garden was a place I didn't really put too much time into even back then. For me, the Zen Garden was the place where you just sell plants for a good amount of money, then go back and buy some upgrades, and then get more plants in the garden, rinse and repeat until you have a majority stock in Crazy Dave's Tweety Dinkies. Later in the adventure mode, you will unlock minigames and puzzle game modes. The minigames would range from more wallet bowling to hitting the slots to what I think was the standout, Zombani. And this, Dr. Zomboss replaced the heads of the zombies with that of plants, so walnuts have more health and pea shooters will shoot out peas trying to kill the actual plants, which it makes for a really intense game mode. In puzzle mode, you can play more Vase Breaker or play one of my favorite bonus game modes, iZombie. And this, for the first time ever I believe, you play as the zombies as you train with plant dummies to better prepare for your next invasion. This one's always a blast because you can't just summon a ton of gargantuars, but instead you actually have to plan out what zombie is going to be best to get killed by the squash. Survival mode is not like Minecraft, but has the player go against continuous waves of zombies, and after each flag, the player is allowed to replace the seed packets they have and choose new ones. The plants that you have on the field don't go away, and neither does your sun, but if you lose your lawnmower, that stays gone permanently. There's also an endless version of this mode when the game is indefinite until the player's brains are eaten. I didn't finish all these for this review, but they are a nice distraction. They do provide more bang for your buck, but for me personally, I'm just okay playing the base game. Now, I think I would be publicly executed if I didn't mention the music, because this is one of the greatest soundtracks in gaming. Laura Shigihara has just gone above and beyond with this music. This is peak music, and I expect nothing less from the person that gave us Cube World, okay? Walnut Bowling goes crazy with Loon Boon. The pool levels go crazy with Watery Graves, and then it plays the fast version, and then you're like, Mamma Mia! The bonus track Zombani, which was supposed to be the real final boss music but was scrapped, is a banger, albeit a short banger. Now those of course are great songs, but in gaming, when it comes to vocal tracks, there are three great ones. Still Alive from Portal, Pollyanna from Earthbound, and Zombies on Your Lawn. Now, I don't want this video to be too long, but it should be mentioned that I won't cover PvZ 2 for this marathon because it's a mobile free-to-play game with microtransactions, ads, and is the reason we haven't had a new tower defense style game in so long, and no, I still don't count PvZ 3. Not only that, this game from when it originally released is now a completely different game. There's more worlds, a whole lot of new plants and zombies, a new leveling system. It's just much too much to go over, and quite frankly, not worth it in my opinion. And finally, I just want to jump into Garden Warfare for the next video. So what's the final conclusion? It's really good. Buy the game. I know I didn't criticize much of the game except for the things that didn't really interest me, like minigames and puzzles, but those are side things. And also, I'm 100% biased when it comes to this game. I can no longer see the faults with it, and it's just being a little too easy. Being its only critique is like a 9.9 instead of a 10, okay? But I mean, it's a classic, and you can get it really cheap now. I mean, it's $5 on Xbox, so go buy it, or wait for the remaster if it's real, well, I guess. Well, next time I upload, it'll be on the first of the shooters for PvZ, and that of course is Plantsvszombies Garden Warfare. But until next time, remember this. Sunflowers should be in the back behind the pea shooters.